demonstrated that the world is a global village now.
It gives me much pleasure to be here this afternoon. I do not intend to make a very long speech. I've been waiting for some time, and my apologies for the delay. I was actually in Nukuloa High School in Ba, and thus the delay took place. But as your principal highlighted, that we've just come back from Bonn in Germany, where Fiji, as you know, has the presidency of COP23, and which for the first time in the world, it's historic because a country had been given the presidency, but it is being hosted in another country. Normally when you're given the presidency, you actually get to physically host it too. But in this particular instance, Fiji was given the presidency, it is physically hosted by Germany. And I think one of the messages that we've said from this is that it is a wonderful symbolic gesture that a small island developing state for the first time actually had the presidency, but a large developed country was actually hosting it. And the symbolism in all of this is that you could have developing countries working together with developed countries. And that actually brings about a number of opportunities. To bring it back home, your principal said you are plastic neutral, or you don't have plastic bags. Of course, for us it is very, very critically important to ensure that all of us, whether you're in school, whether you're living at home, whether you are in primary school, that we all actually essentially become aware of climate change and also the environment. As you know, just until a week ago, the western side was suffering from a drought. Would have been officially declared a drought. Now, the spiraling effect of drought is that the cane farmers who planted the cane, you would not have got enough sugar in the cane because it's too dry. A lot of vegetable farmers would not have been able to deliver vegetables. Animals would have suffered. So as a result of that, the price of vegetables would shoot up. There will be low yield in the cane, so the farmers would get less money. The price of vegetables would go up. And all of this would have a negative impact. It would have an impact on jobs. So we all need to be aware as to what are the realities of climate change and what we can do to be able to contribute in our own little way as a small island developing state. I have to say this, ladies and gentlemen, but the event in Bonn was highly demanding, and I think we need to be very, very proud of our Prime Minister, who was the president, who still is the president of COP23, to be able to negotiate with all the different nations in the world, to be able to have a successful COP23, and the manner in which Fiji has been able to position itself on the global stage. The numerous opportunities that has arisen as the fact that we have got the presidency of COP23. Many of these year 13 students will, of course, hopefully will be going to university, will be pursuing other careers. And with the advent of technology, with the uptake of technology, it creates a lot more jobs. I'll give you an example. The lady read out about mobile phones. Most of the young people would not know, but only about 7 or 8 years ago, there's only one mobile phone company in Fiji. To make a telephone call on a mobile phone at peak period cost 99 cents a unit. 99 cents. You did not have 5 up, 7 up, 10 up, whatever you call it. Text messages was 50 cents. Today it's 5 cents. Sometimes it's free. You have 2 mobile phone companies. Nearly every single person over here, at least if you're an adult, would have a mobile phone. Today in Fiji, there are more SIM cards in operation than the actual number of people. Some people carry 2 mobile phone numbers. Some carry even 3. Some carry for legitimate reasons, some carry for illegitimate reasons. Sometimes some people get confused which phone number they're answering. But that is the reality. That is the reality of how quick technology can change our lives. That is the reality of how quick technology can create jobs. Only last year we did not have e-ticketing. Today we have e-ticketing. Through e-ticketing, we know exactly how many people are sitting on a bus at the corner of Tilak High School at 8 a.m. in the morning. We will know exactly how many people get off where. What does that mean? It means that government, LTA, the bus companies can plan better. We know that at certain times, in certain buses, you have people hanging out of the bus window, hanging out of the door. There's not enough buses are there. It helps in better planning. So the uptake of technology is very, very critical. As an English-speaking country, we are very attractive for many businesses to come to Fiji. And we must take advantage of that. But the reality is, ladies and gentlemen, we all need to come together as a nation. All of us. And I want to bring it back to COP23 or the environment. How many of you do it yourself or seen it yourself when people finish a packet of beans or packet of twisties, as soon as they finish eating it, they simply drop it on the ground? How many people have you seen in the buses when they finish a bottle of Coke or finish the packet of twisties, whatever it is, they simply throw it out the window? Such carelessness in the mind will actually mean that we do not have a good environment for the future. Such carelessness will mean that we will attract less tourists because we'll become like another dirty destination. So that level of patriotism we must instill in ourselves. I have to say this principle, I was very surprised that we did not sing the national anthem here this afternoon. Normally in most schools, you have the school prayer and then you sing the national anthem. But even when we do sing the national anthem, next time you go to a rugby match, you go to a soccer match or football match, and when they do sing the national anthem, how many people actually stand up to sing the national anthem? Or how many people have a cigarette in their mouths? Or how many people are half standing and half sitting down? It's not a good sign. We need to be able to be a lot more patriotic about our country. We need to get behind the initiatives. This is why when I see some comments made by people regarding COP23, it is quite saddening that people do not look at the big picture. And we need to be able to do that. This is why government has invested so much money in education. In this year's budget alone, $970 million has been allocated to the education sector. Today in Fiji, we have a shortage of doctors, of engineers, of all the science subjects. This is why the Topper Scholarship, out of the 630 scholarships, most scholarships are given on the science areas. We don't even have a speech therapist in Fiji. There are many people, many babies who are born with a slight speech impediment or hearing impediment. If we make the right intervention at the right time, they will be fixed up. They won't have that problem. But we don't have enough trained people in that area. As you know that we have been holding budget consultations for the past 2 years, even with high school students. Some of you may have even participated in that. I think in the Lautoka we had it at Natambua High School. But as I told the story, when we had the gathering in the Suva district, at Suva Grammar School, nearly all the students put their hands up and they said, we want more student counsellors. You know, a lot of teachers are doubling up as counsellors, but they are not professional counsellors. We want more professional counsellors. I completely agreed with them. But I also pointed out to them that many teachers actually do counselling because there are no other counsellors available. Many teachers actually go out of their way to do it because there's nobody else to do it. They may not be trained in it, but they may have a passion in it. So then I asked the students a question. I said, how many of you, when you finish high school and go to university, want to study counselling, want to become a professional counsellor? Not one of the students put up their hands. Not a single student put up their hands. but it goes towards our values. How many parents over here would tell their son or daughter and say, we really want you to become a professional counselor? Most parents would say, want to become an accountant, engineer, doctor, all of those professions. But we in Fiji have a shortage in many of those professional skill sets. This is why we give scholarships in those areas in science-based subjects. We don't have enough foresters, enough marine scientists, enough speech therapists, enough town planners, enough surveyors. We don't have people in those professions. And as you know, government now has increased the salaries of many of these positions through the civil service reforms. Land surveyors today, the senior land surveyors have got a 40 to 50% pay rise. Why? Because you want to attract good people. There's a shortage of people in those areas. So my message to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, in particular the students, especially the year 13 students, please pursue an area of subject or study area that you feel passionate about. If you want to become a teacher, please become a teacher and become a good teacher. If you want to become a farmer, become a good farmer. If you want to become a carpenter, become a good carpenter. Today we all talk about farming, but for many years, many teachers, even in schools, used to run down the profession of farming. I know I have cousins of mine who went to rural schools, and when they did not study well, the teachers used to say to them, well, if you're not going to study, you're going to just become a farmer. So we look down on farmers. But today the world needs farmers. We need professional farmers. We need commercial farmers. Farmers who understand soil content. How do you understand weather patterns? When do you plant? It's actually a professional job. So my message to all of you, please pursue an area of subject that you feel passionate about, which you'll become good at it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, 69.4% of the entire Fijian population is below the age of 40. So all of you who are over the age of 40, you're in the minority. Most of the people on this stage are in the minority, including myself. Probably except a couple of them. That is the reality. So the future lies in the young people of our country. This is why we are investing in the future. This is why the youth of this country, those of you in year 13, don't think that you're not going to take up leadership positions in 20 years' time. You'll be taking up leadership positions in 5-10 years' time. Remember that. The future of our country rests on the youth of Fiji. And I don't just mean leadership in terms of political leadership. It can be political leadership. It can be within your businesses, in your communities, in your professions. It's very critical for us to understand that. Those of you also in high school in year 12, year 10, year 11 and all of that, you also will very soon be coming out of the schools. You'll also be contributing to our country. And if all of us are able to funnel our energies towards focusing on what we can do, not just to improve our own individual lives, but also how we can improve the entire country. Many countries in the world today have become great because the entire population focused on one subject matter, and that is how to make the country great by doing the best we can do. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd also like to thank the parents who are here. The parents play a very pivotal role, because if the parents don't actually provide the right environment for the students to come back home to study, don't give them that level of support, then obviously the students will not necessarily be able to do the right thing and contribute to their best efforts. It is all a big partnership that we all need to be engaged in. So government's role is to provide the right environment, provide the funding, fund the teachers. The teacher's job is obviously to create for them to be able to feel good in their jobs and to be able to then provide the right learning environment. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, I think the most critical point for us to understand is this. that we at the moment in Fiji are on the cusp of much bigger and greater things. And what we must do is the path that we are on, we must continue on that path. The speed at which we are going, we must continue with that speed. Because if we lose the momentum, then we will lose a number of our economic opportunities. And really, the future of our country depends on us, all of us working together to create those economic opportunities, creating employment for our youth, creating employment and opportunities for the youth sitting at the back in a few years' time will come out of that, and to be able to put in the right strategies in place. I'd like to, of course, thank the management of the school. Most schools in Fiji were set up, were created, and indeed initially funded by school committees, faith-based organizations. Without the perseverance, without the fortitude of the founders of this school would not have existed. As you know, most of the schools actually started during the colonial period, when we were colonized by the British. And in fact, the colonial government did not like schools being created. They only wanted the schools that they created. It was through a lot of trial and tribulation that school committees started up their own schools. And the wonderful thing is now in Fiji, the education system is what I would call ethnic neutral. We need to be able to understand that we all will become very strong if we become ethnic neutral in the way that we view our things. We are all Fijians. We all have common and equal citizenry. We must all work together. It does not mean that our culture, our respective cultural practices, respective religious practices have been shunned. No, we continue to practice them. But we are all bound by the fact that we are all Fijian citizens. And accordingly, irrespective of our backgrounds, we need to be patriotic towards our country. If that's one message I can leave with all of you. So I'd like to thank the principal, and of course, Ms. Sarojini, who made the original contact for the invitation. I'd like to thank her for that. I'd also like to thank the school for agreeing to change the time at which I would come for this. I'd also like to thank the school committee for their hard work. Thank you to the parents, and of course all the staff and the students. I'd like to take a special, make a recommendation to the teachers. Many teachers I know go out of their way, spend many hours to actually spend time, valuable time with these students. And many of you parents would also know that majority of the day, your children are not with you, but they're with the teachers. So they become like second parents. And I think we should all put our hands together for the teachers who spend so much time with the students to help them nurture them. I know when I was in high school, some of the things that the teachers taught me, Maris Brothers, I went to Maris Brothers, some of the brothers they taught me, till today it resonates with me. So I'm sure with these students, many of the teachers are your heroes or your friends, and you'll be able to think about what they taught you and what they told you. But ladies and gentlemen, I thank you once again. Let's all work together to make our Fiji even greater, and I wish you all a very good afternoon. Thank you very much. Please. Excuse me. There you go. Well done.
I see it.